Hi guys, I hope you are all doing well. I've been doing this for a long time now, it seems like, and I still get camera shy. So today we're going to talk about the importance of early intervention and what happens when you don't get it. So my physiological psychology teacher made a joke. She said, "It's always your mother's fault, just ask any clinical psychologist." But I would like to make the argument that it's all my teacher's fault. As I said in my first video way back in January, when I was blonde, in preschool, I would just kind of stand in the middle of the classroom instead of going to a PlayStation. And I didn't really interact with people. I just stood there. Like, hello? That should have been a major red flag for my preschool teacher. And I just don't see how my preschool teacher could have thought, hey, this is just normal behavior. It's shyness. She'll grow out of it. Like, how many preschool kids do you know will not go to a PlayStation? It's not that many. And I've done nursery with really shy kids. They warm up. I never warmed up. When I was in kindergarten, I would often get, like, in trouble for my anxiety. Like, my shoe I was wearing started falling off, and I was too anxious to say, "Excuse me, I need to fix my shoe." So I just walked with it, like, half off, and my teacher got mad at me. She's like, "You need to walk right." So, like, this is gonna be a hard video because I'm kind of at a loss for words as to my teacher's behavior. And this is kind of why I wanted to be a teacher for a little while before I thought, you know, teaching really isn't my thing. Because I recognize the flaw in the system, and that is teachers do not recognize mental disorders, and that teachers, from what I've seen, clearly lack a certain compassion that is needed to deal with children with mental disorders, as evidenced by my getting in trouble for walking with my shoe half off. Like, why? Like, all of my behavior should have pointed to this child is just too shy to stop and fix their shoe. Like, I don't understand how she could have thought I was walking like that for fun. I don't understand. I don't understand how my kindergarten teacher was just totally blind. I had this set of fancy erasers that my parents bought me that I put on my pencils, and I had this boy in my class, I guess, got envious and stole one of them, and he said, "Oh, well, my teacher gave it to me." Or I guess our teacher gave it to me. That was his excuse. And so, like, pretty lame as far as excuses go, but, you know, he was in kindergarten, so we're gonna just forgive him for that. So I got home and told my parents, and they called my teacher, and my teacher's like, "Why didn't you tell me?" And I just kind of murmur, I don't know. I just want my pencil back. Like, that should have been red flag. This child is not responding the way they should, and I don't know, maybe needs some help. This is why education about mental disorders really needs to be a part of teacher education, because somebody at some point in my elementary school career, after that I got a lot better at hiding my anxiety, but somebody at some point should have said, this child is not responding the way she should to her environment. They should have sent me to the counselor. They should have talked to my parents. I should have seen a child therapist a lot earlier on than I did. I didn't see a child therapist ever. I saw a regular therapist. But I should have seen a child therapist for my anxiety. In preschool, I would like even wet myself before asking to go to the bathroom. So like, how my teachers thought that that was normal behavior just totally escapes me. And that just shows how ignorant our society is, because mental illness is not invisible. Granted, some people are really good at hiding mental illness, and also granted, people can't like see your thoughts, but wetting myself because I was too shy to ask to go to the bathroom, that is not invisible. Not choosing a PlayStation because I was too shy, not invisible. Walking with my shoe half out because I was too shy to stop my teacher and say, my shoe's falling off, I need to fix it, not invisible. Okay, so another thing, there was this little putty thing stuck in the door of the girls' bathroom in my kindergarten class, and it looked like a smushed finger to me, and that really freaked me out, and I would like get in trouble in the bathroom. I had someone tell me, stop fooling around, just get out. Like, because I did not want to go to that door and see that putty that resembled a smushed finger, and I eventually learned just to close my eyes while walking to the door. And I wouldn't have to see it. But like, clearly that's not normal behavior for a child, and I think people just want to assume that children are troublemakers and that they're doing things on purpose, rather than assuming, oh, there's something wrong with this child, they may have a mental disorder. So obviously, as you can tell, I did not have any early intervention. But I mean, with as bad as my anxiety was, early intervention could have helped me a lot sooner. It wouldn't have taken me 18 years till I had my first job for somebody to finally say, hey, maybe you need to talk to a therapist. Your behavior is not normal behavior for a person your age, and that was my parents who finally saw it, because of course I noticed much earlier on that my behavior was not normal for someone my age and that I had social anxiety, but I was much too shy to say, you know, I have social anxiety. I was too anxious about it. I was scared of being accused of faking and attention seeking and just all that negative stigma that can come with mental illness. And I guess since preschool, I just felt unheard by pretty much everyone around me, that I was scared because nobody noticed. Nobody thought like anything about this child who wets herself because she is too anxious to ask to go to the bathroom. So let's compare me to my brother. My brother has Asperger's syndrome, and because of that, his development at a young age, it just wasn't where it was supposed to be, and my parents noticed that. And so he got diagnosed early on. And you know what he did over the summer? He had like job training for people with special needs. Like, that could have highly benefited me, but because I was undiagnosed, I was just thrown out to the wolves, basically. He, I mean, got the help from school. All his teachers got an email telling him or telling them about his disability, and most were, you know, helpful and willing to work with him because they had somebody say, oh, he has Asperger's syndrome. I had no one saying, oh, she has social anxiety. She needs a little more help than the other kids. My friend was diagnosed with selective mutism at an early age, and that's kind of the way my anxiety presented itself when I was in preschool and kindergarten. And for as long as the selective mutism presented itself, her parents would talk to her teachers and say she has selective mutism. She can't always talk, which that could have been helpful for me if somebody would have said, I can't talk, I can't ask for things, I can't ask to go to the bathroom and wash all this paint off of my hand from art class. I can't ask to go to the bathroom, period. I can't ask to have my pencil back. I can't ask to fix my shoe. And this just shows a failure of the system to notice my needs and, you know, do something about it. I just fell straight through the cracks and nobody noticed I was suffering. And it was very lonely. If I had seen a child therapist, or a child psychiatrist, I wouldn't have had to go through that tormenting 3 months that I worked at Randall's that drove me just insane with anxiety. I wouldn't have had to go through, I wouldn't have had to go through it alone. And that's the main thing that my lack of early intervention did, is it made me go through my anxiety completely alone. Because like I said, no one knew. No one was able to see it. And we talk a lot about bullying in school, and we don't talk about mental illness, which I think mental illness is a huge bully. But we don't talk about it. I mean, we like barely cover depression in health class, and that's all the education there is about mental illness in high school, and there's zero education of it in like junior high and elementary school. And I think if there had been education, then maybe a teacher would have realized, hey, I think this child has anxiety, and could have helped me. So this is why I think it is really important for teachers to be informed about mental illness. I think teachers who have no idea what mental illness looks like should not be teaching. Because honestly, if you can't spot anxiety, that is a huge, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is. That's a huge disservice you are doing to that child by being unable to recognize anxiety or depression or any other mental illnesses like psychosis, OCD, ADHD. I mean, the only thing my teachers noticed was that I was nearsighted because I was squinting at the board. Nobody noticed the anxiety. Nobody noticed that I wouldn't speak up for myself. And that's why early intervention is necessary for a child's well-being growing up. Because had I not been dealing with my anxiety completely alone, it might not have fed into my depression so much once my bipolar disorder started to develop. And who knows, maybe I wouldn't even have developed bipolar disorder without anxiety or borderline personality disorder if I didn't have my anxiety that started everything. Basically, everything can be traced back to my anxiety, and I was really robbed of a childhood by my anxiety. I mean, I have some good memories. I made some good friends when I was in 5th grade, but mostly what I remember is being afraid. And that's pretty much why I would never, not even for $1 million, go back and go through my childhood again. Like, I know some people wish they could go back to being 5 without having any responsibilities or care in the world, but my social responsibilities at the age of 5, which included attending kindergarten class, were just too much for me. And somebody should have seen. So anyways, this video was a whole lot longer than I planned on it being. I guess nothing gets me just as angry as thinking about my childhood does, and thinking about how I could have been helped if somebody had just been smart enough to notice, if somebody had just been educated on mental illness. And this is really why I do what I do, because I want to normalize mental health and mental illness. I want to make it a topic that, you know, is not taboo. There's no stigma attached to it. mental illness needs to be normalized in our society because it's not going away, and the stigma only forces people to suffer in silence. And teachers who don't know anything about mental illness should have no business teaching, honestly. So I'm gonna end this here. I hope you all are doing okay, and have a good day. Bye, guys.